On returning to the U.S. after a year in the Philippines, we entered into a time where we were really unsettled, a lot of uncertainty. We didn't quite know what we were going to do. The mission had offered to send us to Nigeria. We did not think that's where we were supposed to go, having wanted to go and be appointed to the Middle East. And so they brought us off the field, but it soon became obvious that there wasn't going to be another offer made, and so that was set to cut off. Secondly, I presented a vision that I had for missions in the Middle East that included time of study, first of all, in Israel and then in the Arab world. And that was flatly rejected by the pastoral committee that I spoke with. And then the following, those are actually on back-to-back Tuesdays, the third Tuesday of December of 1979, I met with a gentleman brother in the church who offered me a position working for an American company and marketing navigation equipment in the Middle East and living in London. Now, eventually, I took that job, and in the summer of 1980, my family and I, Carrie and Kathy, now second grader and kindergartner, we moved out. We moved to England and settled in Wimbledon, about a mile and a half from center court. Pretty fantastic. There was an opportunity that this could have been a tent making job to do missions in the Middle East, but the dynamics of the company and other things that were true with the other guys that I worked with and that sort of thing made that untenable. But in any event, we came from the jungles of the Philippines to being settled in Wimbledon, just a few miles south of the center of the city of London. And I got to say that all things considered, it was an extraordinary time that the Lord had given us there, and there's just a lot to that story. But it was pretty obvious after a short amount of time that this company was not going to work. The guys I was with weren't going to be all that accommodating to teaching a newbie what needed to be taught. But we had really a good experience and a church experience and meeting other believers. And I'm really grateful to the Lord for that period of time with this company, and specifically with these months that we were able to spend in Wimbledon. We actually arrived in July, came home in February of 1980 when the boss, who was a believer, could see that it was not going to work, pretty much through no fault of my own. But he was, in fact, really very, very kind in that whole exit that took place. More on that later. But anyway, from the island of Top Lost in the jungle to Wimbledon, it was quite a shift, and really was the Lord.